Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, what's up, podcast family? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 304. I'm Phil Graham. I've got a great show for you guys today. I'm going to be sharing 3 ways that I feel that I have a huge advantage when it comes to Facebook ads over many other advertisers out there. And more importantly, how you could have that advantage too. So welcome to this week's episode. I am super excited you're here. I love our community. I love our audience. Can I just say that? It's so cool. Sometimes I'll talk to people that just found the podcast like a few days ago. And other times I'll talk to people that found it 6 years ago. And a lot of people don't realize I've literally been doing this every single week for over 6 years. And I really am doing it for you guys. And I'm super glad you're here and I appreciate you. And I was thinking the other day, there's some things that make me sad that I see out there quite a bit. One of the things that kind of makes me sad is I see people doing things that they hate because maybe they feel like they're stuck or they feel like they have to, or maybe they don't have enough confidence to do what they really want to do. There's all kinds of reasons. And whether that means they're doing a job or a certain business that they hate, or they feel like they have to do organic social media and be glued to their screen, 20 hours a day, and they hate it, it doesn't have to be that way. I also really don't like when I see people doing what they love, but they're not making enough money from it. That's not good either. Here's the thing. It doesn't have to be that way for either of those things. Look, when it comes to advertising, whether it's on Facebook or somewhere else, just like everything else in life, ads are not a magic button. It's not a unicorn that's guaranteed to always work no matter what, even though that's what most of the fake guru scammers would want you to believe. But, my friends, the beautiful thing is ads can work. They've worked extremely well for us, but it takes work. It takes skill, effort, time, learning the right stuff, and obviously having a great product and service and many other factors. But I'll say this, running great ads has changed my life. And I'm here every week because I care. I care about you. I care about your family. I care about your business. I'm here for good people and good families and good entrepreneurs. And I'm here to help you, to educate you, to inspire you, and to encourage you. So welcome to the show this week, my friends. I'm excited to dive into the 3 ways that I feel I have a huge advantage when running ads. So you can learn these things too. And I hope you can leverage these to create an advantage for yourself too. And before we jump into these 3 ways, if you guys do want to get in touch, whether it's for coaching one-on-one or having ads run for you, you can just go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. But with that being said, I want to jump right into the content this week. It's so important and I can't wait to dive in. So let's start with number 1. One of the ways that I feel I have a huge advantage is by avoiding so much of the social media distraction and craziness. I'll tell you what, I avoid the world that's designed to distract me and keep me from my goals. Now, before I tell you about how I do this, I want to be very, very clear. It doesn't mean I don't use social media. Of course I do. And I am not antisocial. I love people. I love connecting. I love talking about stuff. What it means is I'm not like I see a lot of people where they literally let things control and take over their life. It's crazy. I'll give you an example. I was looking at somebody the other day for a client because it's in their industry. And they have somebody that wanted to come work for them who used to be a competitor, but then they had to go out of business. And so they wanted me to just kind of give my input on if this person would be maybe a good person to be an employee for them. And so I was just kind of looking at what they're talking about online. And in addition to talking about the things in their industry. Most of what they were talking about online, they were arguing about politics, claiming to be a political expert. They were arguing about war. So they were experts on war, experts on the pandemic, and about 50 other things. And based off of how long they were on social media and what they were doing, unfortunately, it doesn't surprise me that they did go out of business and they were coming to my client for a job. I see that a lot. And look, if you're making lots of money and you don't need more business and you got plenty of time to spare and all that stuff, and you like doing that stuff, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not judging anybody who uses it in that manner, although I personally think it is a waste of time. I think a lot of people are just yelling into the void, trying to convince people of things that you're never going to change other people's mind. And it just becomes a toxic dump of wasted time. And that doesn't even include all the scammers posting all day, every day, trying to get you to become clients or buy their course because they have nothing else to do but post because they don't have clients. People do this so much. It's such a distraction. So anybody who's running an actual business or wanting to run one, that is a huge disadvantage if they're mired and stuck in that crap. Here's the deal. A lot of advertisers, a lot of just people in general post about all that stuff all the time. And then others, instead of maybe posting about it, they just consume it and read it all the time. And then there's others that actually do both. They post about it and they read about it all day sometimes. Essentially, their life is tied to their screens. And most of these people don't even realize that it's actually hurting them. It's not helping them. And it's putting them at an actual disadvantage in many situations. So for me, the antidote to all that is to focus on what really matters and do the few things that make all the difference when it comes to running a great business, achieving my goals, and most importantly, being a happy person. Somebody that can spend time with family, run a business, and do other things I enjoy. And that's the kind of things that I wish and hope for you guys as well. And again, like I said earlier, it doesn't mean I don't use social media. It doesn't mean that I might not ever talk about some of these topics. There's nothing wrong with talking about them. But the big difference is I am not going to ever get distracted by them. And I'm never going to waste a huge amount of time focusing on those things. There's nothing wrong, like I said, with talking about it. But I see people literally just doing nothing but that. And their business suffers because of it. And I don't want that to be you. So I feel like being able to avoid a world that was designed to distract you and keep you there has helped me immensely when it comes to being successful running ads. And so that's the first thing that I think you guys should really focus on. Number two, this is also really big. I don't randomly run ads. Hardly anybody I talk to really runs ads based on a defined strategy. It's crazy. Most people, when they're going to run ads, are like, hey, I need to run some ads. Let me launch an ad for this and launch an ad for that. We'll just see if it works. And it's just kind of random. It's crazy. People are spending money on running ads. Nothing should be random. So when I'm running ads, everything I do is based off of a defined strategy. It's not some cookie cutter copy and paste template. It's literally different for every situation, for every client. And there are some variables that are similar in many different situations, but there's other things that are very unique to each situation or how you deploy certain, tactics amongst the strategy. So I wanted to give a quick analogy for this. Anybody who knows about baseball, this will make a lot of sense. For those of you that don't know, I'll try to explain it as best I can. But when it comes to baseball, if you're batting and you're batting at a high level against a really good pitcher, if you just walk up and you're like, okay, I'm just going to try and hit the ball. I'm just going to, swing it. When I see the ball coming, I'm just going to swing the bat and hope I hit it. You are going to fail because these pitchers can throw fastballs that are over 100 miles an hour, but they can also throw a pitch that looks very similar to a fastball but it's like a 70-mile-an-hour pitch, which is a tremendous difference of speed. They can also throw curveballs that look like a fastball at first, that look like they're going to be in the strike zone, but then right before they get to the batter, they kind of drop down almost into the dirt, and you could easily miss that. Great baseball players, and everyone in the pros does this. They come to the plate when they're going to bat with an approach and a strategy based off of different variables. So they know who's pitching the ball. They know what tendencies that pitcher has. They also know what situation of the game they're in. Is it the beginning of the game, the end of the game, the middle? Are they ahead or behind? And they also know what types of pitches that pitcher pitches and how often they pitch certain types of pitches. And when you take all that into account and you combine that with the skill they have in batting, they develop a strategy where they can sometimes predict what is the likely type of pitch that's going to come at them next. And that's what allows baseball hitters to be really good. If they didn't have that strategy, then they would fail. They would be horrible. They wouldn't be playing baseball, that's for sure. And it's so similar when it comes to running ads. If you just randomly run stuff without a strategy, you are at a huge disadvantage. And that's how most people do things. They just randomly run stuff. Not only do people randomly run ads, but they randomly turn them on and off just based off of emotion, or just like, oh, they've run 4 days and I don't have what I want yet, so I'm just going to turn it off. It's not based off of a strategy, a plan, and they just randomly turn things on and off and just keep rinsing and repeating all over again. Well, usually that's a recipe for failure. And then they blame it on something, on Facebook or their audience or any other number of things. What I like to do instead is I develop a great strategy. And that strategy combines knowing what you want to achieve, what makes you different from what other choices are out there, how you talk to your audience in a way that actually gets their attention. That's part of the strategy. Where you find them and where you talk to them through ads, how you talk to them, like how long ads, short ads, and more importantly, how you measure the results of those conversations, or what I would consider ad data, while also tuning out all the fake gurus and scammers. To me, that's part of a great strategy. And within that, there's a lot of stuff, but I would encourage you guys to never run ads without first having a strategy of what you want to achieve and how you're going to do it. Like the next time you launch an ad, make a plan. Don't just randomly turn it off. Make a plan for how long you're going to let that run before you turn it off, unless something crazy happens, something dramatic. And make a plan of what types of ads you're going to run. Don't just launch something, but test some different audiences, test some different creatives. Be ready. Stick to your strategy, because that can give you an edge that most people don't have. Again, remember, most advertisers, including probably many of your competitors, are just randomly running stuff. Just like I said, in the baseball example, just randomly trying to hit a ball. But if you know the pitcher's tendencies, you know where they're likely to pitch and how fast and how often, you have a much better chance of succeeding in hitting the ball. And when you know what to expect from Facebook ads and other data that you've gotten from running ads or that you're going to get, and then you use that to make smarter decisions, that's all part of a great strategy that's not random, that can help you. And last but not least, advantage number 3 is data. I talk about this a lot because it's so important, yet hardly anybody focuses on it. And it's one of the most important things in the world when it comes to running ads. I use data to make most decisions, not guessing, not randomness. Here's the thing. I try and learn from every single ad that I run, whether it has a bad result or a good result. No matter what, I want to know why and what caused that result. And then I adapt to what I learn, and I use what I learned in my next ad and in my next ad. That's all part of the strategy that I talked about in the previous tip. That's part of that strategy. It's a tactic, but using data to make really smart decisions, not just guessing on stuff. It can literally be such a game changer. It has been for me, and I can't emphasize that enough. It is so important, you guys. I mean, I've seen so many mistakes made by advertisers. They're targeting, 50 different interests. There's no way to know why it didn't work or why it did work. They're spending way too little or way too much. They're turning things off too soon or letting them run too long. And they're all doing these things based off of usually just emotion and guessing. But I'm telling you, once you start making decisions based off of data, and once you get good at evaluating that data and you become confident in that and you see great things happen, it gives you a huge edge. And again, like I said before, nothing is guaranteed, but having these advantages and these edges can help you so much. It can make such a big difference. So for me, when I'm focusing on data, it's not just sales. There's tons of data that can lead to sales before they happen. That's super important. And so that data comes from places like Facebook Ads Manager, from Google Analytics, from either your Shopify or your WordPress site, stats on your site, or wherever your website is hosted, the stats there. Obviously, part of it comes from sales and other things like conversions and opt-ins and registrations and things like that. We also use heat map software and more. And we can aggregate it into one place. So taking lots of different data, aggregating it into one place, and then analyzing it, looking for trends, looking for things that didn't work and did, finding out why, and adapting and using that information to our advantage, and doing that over and over again. It's almost like it's not even fair when you compare that to somebody that's just randomly running stuff, turning things on and off, or they're using lame cookie cutter templates or trying to have AI write their ads for them, just basically guessing and not even realizing what they're doing. But in summary, when you focus on these three things, you make sure that you don't get too distracted and spend too much time on things that aren't helping your business. And number two, you have that strategy. You're not just randomly running ads, but you're doing it in a defined strategy. And number three, you're becoming really good at evaluating data and making decisions based off of what you learned, not from emotion or guessing. Those things can also give you an edge and an advantage, just like they have for me. And I hope you guys really try this stuff because, oh my gosh, it's a game changer. It can really help you so much. So my friends, episode 304 is in the books. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to get in touch, philgrahamdigital.com is my website, and you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you on the next episode next week. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.